Kern County, thanks for tuning in to 23 ABC on this Tuesday. It is February 24th. Glad you're with us this morning. I'm Mike Hardin. Here are the stories that we'll be covering this morning. Just a few of them you can find right now on our website, turn23.com, in case you want to take a deep dive. After months of allegations, the son of a daycare owner in Bakersfield has been arrested on multiple felony child abuse charges. Neighborhood reporter Maddie Vollmer went back to the daycare to ask more questions. We'll show you what happened. And a shelter-in-place continues in Mexico in the aftermath of an operation that killed a cartel leader known as El Mencho. With airport delays, canceled flights, and more, we're taking a look at what to do for those who have been stranded there. Plus, the race is on for California governor. The state's Democratic Party just had their weekend convention with a growing list of candidates to take after current Governor Gavin Newsom. We're going to break down those names. But first, let's begin here with a live look at Capitol Hill. President Trump set to deliver his State of the Union address tonight, talking to voters on his plans for the future. This comes as a recent poll showed a majority of Americans disapproved of the job the president's doing so far. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio's in Washington with more.
Tonight, President Trump will address the nation as he tries to calm voters' economic concerns ahead of midterm elections. It comes as markets tumbled Monday amid fresh uncertainty over trade and tariffs. On Friday, the Supreme Court struck down tariffs the president had imposed on nearly every country using an emergency powers law. The president criticizing the justices following their decision.
And I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country.
Trump now says he will pursue a global tariff of 15%, arguing it would protect American industry. FedEx has announced it's filing a lawsuit joining a growing list of companies, asking the federal government to repay tariffs they say were collected before the court's ruling. Foreign policy also expected to be front and center tonight as 2 U.S. aircraft carriers were dispatched to the Middle East amid tensions with Iran. In recent days, the president has said he's considering a limited strike amid a major U.S. military buildup in the region.
Almost half of the deployable air power of the whole United States military is now in the region. This is the biggest buildup in over 20 years. So it's more than just a negotiating ploy.
The latest ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll shows 60% disapprove of how Trump is handling his job as president, while only 39% approve.
That is the highest numerical disapproval since he started his second term. Costs are a top issue as voters decide who they're going to cast ballots for in these midterm elections.
And the Democratic response will come from Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger, the first woman to serve as governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
And you can watch the State of the Union address right here on 23 ABC tonight, beginning at 6 o'clock. So as a result, there will not be a 6 p.m. newscast. Meantime, across the country, Americans are experiencing affordability challenges driven by high inflation and elevated interest rates. Before the 2024 elections, voters consistently rated affordability as a top concern, and it remains a key issue for many Americans. Recently, the president declared victory on affordability, touting the current economy, but setbacks still remain. ABC's Melissa Adon explains the financial impacts we're seeing from the housing market to rising household debt and increasing costs of goods.
Across the country, many families are dealing with an affordability crisis.
People can't afford houses,
leading many to struggle with difficult decisions.
Whether to go see the doctor or to pay for my kids' school supplies.
An affordability crisis looms over Americans. President Trump continues to visit states touting the economy, but many say they are still facing difficulties.
People that are living paycheck to paycheck are just finding it a struggle to, pay rent, meet utility costs, pay for those day-to-day items that they encounter.
The price of childcare is also financially impacting families. According to LendingTree, childcare estimates rival rent costs in many of the largest metro areas in the country, influencing some parents to quit their jobs, like Casey Myers in Texas.
Daycare prices ultimately just was my income, so we decided for me to stay home with the kids and homeschool.
When we're talking about inflation, the first place people often look is here in a grocery store, where right now the average price for a dozen eggs is about $2.50 nationwide. And here in this Arizona grocery store, the cheapest ones we see are $2.99.
It used to be you could go in and buy a bunch of onions for 25 cents a bunch.
Now they're 99 cents a punch.
Prices have inflated not just for food, but personal care items as well. Data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reveals the cost of items for hair, dental, shaving, and other personal care products have gone up by 18% from 2020 to 2025.
I usually do go for cheaper things just because my budget is pretty small. Yeah, I don't really care about the brands anymore just because I can't afford the big ones.
A trend that seems to be outpacing the typical budget. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Tucson, Arizona.
And good morning, Kern County. Very happy Tuesday to you all. Getting a first check of our forecast where locally we're tracking a really calm and comfortable week. But Northern California does have some active weather heading their way. Let's take a look at the radar overnight. We saw those showers really impacting the north end of the state. As you can see here, that line of showers moving through some areas in the Bay Area. A couple of showers moved through Sacramento overnight as well. This system will get close to us, though we are expected to stay dry here in Kern County. And again, our forecast here for the rest of this week will be relatively calm and most importantly, really comfortable. Temperatures right now across the board as you're heading out the door here on Tuesday, mostly 40s and 50s. Only one spot right now checking in the 30s down in Rosemont. Overall, everybody slightly warmer than we were at this time yesterday. And that's really the trend for the next several days. It will feel quite comfortable through the afternoon. Your bust up forecast here for Tuesday in Bakersfield. By the time you're heading out the door and going back home, things are looking really nice. We'll be 75 degrees through the afternoon. Doesn't get better than that, in my opinion. Really, really comfortable. And that's true for all across Kern County. Touch warmer over in California City and touch cooler over in our high elevation mountain towns. But everybody will be quite comfortable through the afternoon. Take a look at our extended forecast coming up in just a few minutes. But for now, let's bring Mike back in with a check at the roadways.
All right, thank you, Grace. Taking a look at the live traffic cams, beginning with the My Cornerstone Mortgage camera, the 58 Centennial Corridor. Right about where it normally is at this hour. Traffic is moving steadily east and west. You can see the Grapevine in the right corner there. All the headlights and taillights down there as traffic is starting to pick up at this hour. Sangera Subaru camera over the 99. This is actually kind of heavy for this time of day. We got a lot of traffic out there, people on their way to work or maybe out of the area. Taking a look at the Bakersfield area, we are in the green. Always love to see that, widen things out. There's one issue, it's off the map. It's the northbound 5 at Smoky Bear Road. You know where that is, up on the Grapevine. There's a semi-fire on the northbound side. It's not really impacting traffic, but just be advised if you have people that are coming up from that area this morning that there could be a delay. Other than that, let's keep your head up and those phones down. Well, Mexico is on edge this morning following the government operation Sunday that killed the cartel kingpin known as El Mencho. The cartel's reaction to that killing turned the streets of various towns into what looked like war zones, with much of the unrest happening in tourist hotspots. Now, amid the violence, the U.S. State Department has urged American citizens to shelter in place.
We're just going to be patient and support each other and just try to get out of here as soon as we can.
El Mencho was killed along with other cartel members in a Mexican military operation aided by U.S. intelligence. Now, his killing triggered a series of violent incidents. Suspected organized crime group members set buses on fire, blocked roads, and clashed with authorities. Several air carriers suspended flights to and from some cities. Now, some of those routes continue to be disrupted, while flights to and from other cities are set to resume today. Meantime, the U.S. State Department is urging American nationals to continue sheltering in place in certain areas as other parts of the country return to normal. Now, as you just heard, many Americans are stuck in Mexico. Neighborhood reporter Ruby Rivera has more on steps that a local travel advisor is recommending for those who find themselves stranded.
As cartel violence triggers shelter-in-place orders, airport closures, and flight cancellations, travelers are left facing delays and uncertainty. I'm Ruby Rivera, your neighborhood reporter, and I spoke with a local travel advisor about what stranded travelers should do next.
On Sunday, Mexico issued a shelter-in-place warning for several states after the Mexican army killed the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, Mexico's most wanted cartel boss. Many in Kern County have family members throughout Mexico and are naturally worried about them. With destinations like Baja California seeing heavy tourist activity and the Puerto Vallarta airport being shut down, local travel advisor Julie Salazar Garcia says sheltering in place is the safest option. But there are other steps travelers can take.
STEP, S-T-E-P, and that's the program that you can sign up and let them know you're going out of the country and where you're going, and they are to send you alerts via email or text to let you know this is what's going on right now.
Along with this, Salazar Garcia says it's also important for travelers to keep in touch with airlines for updates.
For those on cruises, Garcia advises staying on the ship if you don't feel safe. She also recommends that anyone with upcoming trips purchase travel insurance, which allows you to cancel without penalty if concerns arise. For 23 ABC News, I'm Ruby Rivera, your neighborhood reporter.
Tensions rise during a violent school district meeting. I'm Shantae Mani, neighborhood reporter. Coming up, frustration that faculty has expressed over the decision of future leadership.
The 23 ABC Westside Parkway traffic camera is sponsored by My Cornerstone Mortgage.